given the breadth of your career, it's so hard to know where to start and to confine things in an hour. So you forgive me if we jump around. But one of the things that I did notice is you were educated by the Jesuits.
Yes, yes.
And now the Jesuits, unless I'm not mistaken, say that if you give us the boy at 7, we will give you back the man.
You're totally wrong.
I was going to say, how did they do?
If you give a boy at 7, and you have to attend Mass, I'm a Catholic myself, but I tell you, I went back to Catholicism. You go there, and you have one thing that you only realize that it is important to you later on in your life, that it is discipline. Discipline is very, very important. But then we go there, you are forced to worship this God that they understand as being Jesus, this person who he's always hanging in a cross, nailed to the cross, suffering. And they teach you this. You see this man here, he died for us. Instead of teaching, you see this man here, he suffered for 2 or 3 days. But the rest of the time he was traveling, having dinners, transforming water into wine and not wine into water, right? So his first miracle was not a politically correct miracle. It was, no, it was not healing a blind man or taking someone from the dead. It was, her mother asked, oh, we don't have more wine? And he said, okay, it's not my time yet, but for the sake of the party, I'm going to do this. So he did this, but we don't learn these aspects of Jesus Christ's life. We learn mostly about his suffering. So, of course, when I was 15, after 7 years in a Jesuit school, I totally lost my faith, because this is, I think, probably this is what they want us, because they force us to believe. And we are forced. And moreover, when you are young, and you have to believe, and you have to praise, and you have to pray, and you have to attend masses on Sunday, when all your friends are playing football and hanging around. So when I left the Jesuit school, it was quite difficult for me to understand my Christian background. It took me many years. Then it was, of course, the hippie generation, etc. You go to Buddhism, you go to India, you think that Krishna is the top of the hill, and Dalai Lama is the most enlightened person on earth, things like this. But when I did this pilgrimage to Santiago de Compostela, I realized that regardless in what you believe, the faith that you have is the faith that you have in your blood. So naturally, spontaneously, I went back to Catholicism. And that means that I have to obey some rules. I'm not saying that I'm always sidelined with the church, which is not the case, but I think a religion, at least for me, it is important, on the sense that it gives me a kind of collective worship. Having said that, most of our problems today are based on religious tensions. We don't understand that Islam, Judaism, Catholicism, Christianity in general, they head to the same light. We think now that we have to fight for God. Instead of fighting against God, one of my books, The Fifth Mountain, is a book that I take a passage from the Bible when Jacob fight against God. I think that somehow when you question God in your life and you go back to your faith is much more stronger. Jesus had 12 apostles. He was not very good in choosing, because out of these 12, one betrayed and one denied. No, so, well, nearly 10% of mistakes.
See, that's the modern statisticians.
But anyway, in his Last Supper, he put both of them in the same sentence. He says, one of you are going to deny me, one of you are going to betray me. So both of them are in the same sentence, meaning this is really something that is going to hurt me. And he chooses out of this 12 one, the one who betrayed, who denied him. Because when you can see the other side of the coin, then I think your faith is much more powerful and conscious than when we only are following some beautiful words, etc.
So in that sense, you know, in your hippie years and in the pilgrimage and everything else, were you consciously searching for something, or was it just a journey that brought you back to almost where you wanted to be?
Well, by the way, my book, The Alchemist, is a little bit about that, going back to the starting point. But there is no starting point. There's no, I mean, you need this journey. If you lose the possibility of traveling and questioning yourself, and questioning your faith, questioning your lifestyle, then you don't realize that the treasure is buried at your backyard. You have first to go to try to find something different, to have answers and questions and answers, etc. But then you go back, it's like the rain. It goes to the sky, you know, evaporates, and then returns. But returns with the wisdom of this journey. So I would say that for me it was very important to try to see something in Buddhism, in Hinduism, that was the trendy, classical, and in Castaneda's books, because then when you go back knowing that whatever path you choose, it leads to the same light.